Hey, 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 hey. Fuck. There we go. Jesus. I apologize. I know what was going on. We've been trying to fix that all this whole time. Um, we were trying to put Mr. Sage asleep, and so we were listening to some music on our headphones, and we still had the Bluetooth bullshit hooked in. We've never done that before, like had it hooked in with our laptop in that type of capacity. So we had no clue what was going on with the audio. Our apologies. Terribly sorry about that beginning to the show, but we're gonna we're gonna get this going, aren't we, Sage? We're gonna get this going. It's a Friday, day before LSU football. I've got the day off, hanging out with my son Sage, just chilling here. We're just watching LSU film, huh, buddy? He's eating his peanut butter and jelly all cut up. He's got his milk. He's got his Beetlejuice shirt on. We're playing Army for the first time in 92 seasons. They have not played LSU since 1931, and they've never played us inside Tiger Stadium. Will Army be the first opponent LSU fans do not boo in Tiger Stadium history this Saturday? It'll be interesting to see, won't it, buddy? Won't it be? Everybody, if you can hear me fine, comment in the comment section. We had some audio issues to begin the show. Everything is cleared up from what I can tell. I was able to hear myself watching the stream back. Let us know if there are any audio issues, if we're coming through good, and give us your predictions on what the hell that we're going to see in this game Saturday, because many are just this is a cakewalk. This is going to be easy for LSU. This is going to be no problem. Um, is there any concerns here for the Tigers? Are there any worries here for the Tigers? Is there anything that could really trip LSU up here in this game? I'm thinking maybe, the only thing that we really could have a cost from in this game, I just cannot foresee a loss here. Cannot foresee a loss here. Would be injuries. If they, hurt Jaden Daniels, they aggravate that rib injury. If they go after, say, Logan Diggs, get his ankle. If they, go after certain big time guys on this team, and you see LSU, who've been really lucky in the injury department through 7 games, finally start to pick up those injuries. Brandon Lewis with a thumbs up. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for the affirmative. Thank you for the affirmative. I can see there's people watching. It's like, someone please tell us if you can hear us. But I just put myself on the TV and we could hear ourselves finally on the playback. And it's hell yeah. Sage is banging his little knife against the don't worry, plastic knife against the table right there. That's hilarious. Sitting in his little chair. I'll have to get him out of that in just 1 second, so apologies for that. But we're going to have kind of a relaxed show today. But at the same time, I really want to make sure we get this in, because this is a game that matters to me. This is a game with a lot of tradition, because LSU and Army don't have much like tradition with against each other. I'm talking about just the prestige of Army, and now they're coming to LSU. We've got the camouflage end zone painted. We've got the American flag patches on the jersey. You and I know damn well that there will be some effect from that upon the LSU players of like, take it easy, get the win, but don't rub it in their face type of thing. To me, you've got to go one way. And you've got to go pedal to the metal, because that Army are going to do this. Army have been waiting for this game for 5 years since they scheduled it back in 2018. I've been looking forward to this game as, my dad's an Army veteran, fought, I'm not sure how many tour of duties in Vietnam, at least one or two. I obviously the one, but I believe maybe possibly two. In the late 60s, 1968, military veteran, Vietnam War veteran. He's very interested in this game. When I told him LSU were playing Army next, he was like, "What? What?" And I told him a few times, but I think it slipped the memory. But LSU playing Army wasn't like the key game, the marquee game for everyone on the schedule. But I got to tell you right now, this game could not come any more perfectly timed or better suited for this team right now on their quest to a college football playoff run. You agree? You agree, right, Sage? It could not come better placed, huh? We're starting to get a lot more injuries. We're starting to get some problems around that area of the field where it's like, wow, the trenches, we're going to start picking up injuries to guys like Mekhi Wingo, Emory Jones with this season getting it more physical and more intense, the running game being more important, the shots, downfield as well as in the backfield to your quarterback getting more brutal, more effective. There's going to be more hits, more injuries, more near injuries for our star players to absorb, to have to get through, or will succumb to if LSU are going to get to the college football playoff. That's what's going to happen here. It's what always happens in October and November. It's why we love October and November every year, probably even more than January, unless LSU were in it, which has happened a few times over the last 20 so odd years. So these are usually the months. These are usually the games that we look forward to the most. I know it's Army, but how many times do LSU get a well-needed, well-placed kind of gimme game? Hate to say that word because nothing's a gimme game, as we've seen versus Troy back in 2016. Nothing is ever a gimme game, but if there's going to be one with this offense, it's hard for me to say Army are going to outscore LSU. Say LSU's defense play like Ole Miss, play like they did against Ole Miss, play like they did against Missouri for 3 quarters. You cannot tell me that still Army are going to outscore LSU. That would revolve around Jaden Daniels getting hurt. It would revolve around Jaden Daniels making mistakes. It would revolve around Jaden Daniels being ineffective. Where have we seen that all season? We've seen Jaden Daniels make a couple mistakes here or there. We've seen him play some bad football here or there. We've seen him not play up to his best ability here or there. We've seen him throw a turnover here or there. We have never seen stretches of Jaden Daniels playing poor football. We've never seen stretches of Jaden Daniels, not being effective or efficient. We have seen him step up and elevate this team, haven't we, buddy? We've seen Jaden Daniels be that proven Heisman candidate. And now you're going to see the national people only start to perk their ears up if and when he beats Alabama. It's not going to be after he puts up 4 touchdowns in the first half against Army. They're not going to give a shit about that. But let me tell you why it's important. Because Jay Daniels pad those stats. This is a game where everyone else is playing against the tough opponents right now. We've got this kind of gimme game, right? Like, pad those stats in that first half. Load them up. Get Jaden Daniels at least 3 passing touchdowns. If you have to, get him another rushing touchdown. I don't think it really matters to run him the football at all with Jaden Daniels. Don't put him in jeopardy of getting those shots on him. There's no reason to get him hurt in this game. There's absolutely zero reason to get Jaden Daniels hurt in this game. If there are open rushing lanes, Jaden Daniels is going to improvise anyway. So he's going to run the football anyway. You don't need to go calling these quarterback draws and succumbing Jaden Daniels to stupid open hits like we have seen all season. I'm telling you, it will come back to haunt LSU if we continue to run the football in that sort of transparent, easy to dissect, easy to stop way that's just going to let Jaden Daniels be the target of one hit, one bad hit after another. We've seen him survive a lot. We've seen him take a lot. We've seen him take an incredible beating over his 2 seasons at LSU. You and I know that it was coming one way or another, that those were not going to be survivable anymore. In 2022, it came after the Arkansas game when we ran into Texas A&M. He was already hobbled after Arkansas. He'd already been through so many different injuries throughout the season that have been kept on the DL. Kind of the little niggling things here, a little, just kind of destabilizing thing right here, kind of thing that would get to his arm here. He had a lot of different injuries that were kind of under the table, kept under wraps, and it affected his play. It affected how he played last year. But now you're seeing Jaden Daniels, even with injuries, it doesn't matter. He's a machine. He is coming for you. What he has done is nothing short. I mean, it is just literally only second to Joe Burrow as far as LSU quarterbacks. I know Rohan Davey was incredible. Believe me, I grew up in that era watching him in 2001. Believe me, Rohan Davey was an early hero. I love Rohan Davey. What he did against Alabama has still never been topped. But not even by Joe Burrow. Mr. 400, yard game, Joe Burrow could never throw that 500-yard passing game. Or at least one that would top Rohan Davey's 528, I believe, against Alabama, without looking at it. Now I would not count Jaden Daniels out of that. If he plays the full game or even 3/4 against Army, he might top that. That is how in sync him and Malik Neighbors are. Malik Neighbors, LSU have the number 1 receiver in America. And then we have a number 1 guy in receiving touchdowns who's not the other guy. So you've got two. I mean, people cannot say LSU do not have the elite dynamic receiving duo in the country with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. You can't tell me. He's getting close to talking. He's practicing. So forgive him for making those sounds, but he's got to. He's got to make those annoying sounds because you got to start talking soon, buddy. We've been trying everything. He's got like 4 months before he's truly behind, but we still want him to start talking soon here. But, LSU, Army, Malik Neighbors, how much will he play? I know he's had a few little different things that have kind of gone off the record because he's kind of taken a few hits and then kind of just been able to prevail through these games somehow. You saw it. I saw it. Yes, you saw it. I saw it against Mississippi State. First of that game, first of Arkansas, where he got smashed in that shoulder. Mason Taylor as well. There's some guys who are on this team who are banged up besides Emory Jones and Mekhi Wingo. But really, this game could not come at a better time for us to take advantage of this. Rest those guys, Mason Taylor. Rest, give Mac Markway, give Kamarion Pimpton those moments. You don't have to even play Mason Taylor. And I understand Mason Taylor would probably be pissed off as hell to not play in this game. But I would tell him, dude, we need you against Alabama. We need you against A&M. We need you against Florida. Do you want to miss the Florida game? Playing against, your home state team? No, you don't want to miss that game. He doesn't want to, we need him in those big games, Mason Taylor. He is such a mismatch for some of these teams. You cannot risk him against Army. This is a prime moment for Mac Markway to get some prime touches and Kamarion Pimpton to finally have that debut, really. I mean, I know he's had some blocking assignments and he's been run out for this play or that play, and he's had a penalty against him that was like a terrible call, really. But this kid has barely had a shot with the football in the air. Give him a chance with the football in the air. And I think that's what makes this offense more dangerous, is that there are these type of weapons. There is this type of depth, but sometimes we don't use or maximize this depth until we are like extremely banged up against the wall. We have to like really throw these guys out there finally, and make a play now, go, after they've been like right on the cusp of like, hey, we should play this guy, and then you don't for however long, and then finally you just you have to, and you just throw them out there. I don't think that's a recipe for success always. Some guys, sure, just get them on the field, whatever it takes, they'll do it. Playing some guitar, huh, Sage? But some guys, Aaron Anderson is one of them. You can't just throw him out there on the field and expect him to deliver. Like, and he hasn't so far. That's been the thing with Aaron Anderson. Had a chance to catch a first down, but because he hadn't had enough snaps to really be game fresh, he makes some like diving play for the ball and he catches it, but he's short. It was like, oh my God. And that was straight up straight up a symptom of Aaron Anderson not playing enough reps. Some of these guys have been, and Chris Hilton, I would say the same thing. He made some good plays, made that huge play that got us into the red zone, but then he had two horrible drops in that loss against Ole Miss, and most of it is from just his own rust. Poe English says he's got to hit Mason Taylor more. He's open as well. Imagine if we're going to beat Bama, we need all hands on deck the rest of the year. They've forgotten about him. Their focus is on BTJ, and Malik. As it should be, though, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but if we were to be throwing 6 more targets towards Mason Taylor like you're wanting, that's taking away touchdowns off the board from Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors. Like that straight up is. That's just how it goes. You got your ball stuck? Here, buddy. There we go. There's your ball. Threw his ball and got it stuck somewhere. So I had to get it for him. Yeah, I think, you got to get the ball, get him more involved. Get Mason Taylor more involved. His best game was like 65 yards or whatever against Missouri or something like that. I believe it was. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. But Mason Taylor needs to be more involved in the game as a pass catcher, of course. But if those two are unstoppable, those two are unguardable, Poe, why go anywhere else? Yeah, he had 5 for 61 against Ole Miss, 12.2 per catch. But he also had a touchdown against Missouri. So I think he's got 3 touchdowns this season. Yep. Nope, he's got only the 1 touchdown, 3 last year. I was shocked by that. I thought he had at least a second one somewhere. So Mason Taylor only has that 1 touchdown against Missouri. And he had 4 for 27 against Missouri, 5 for 61, his big game this year, 3 for 33 against Arkansas. Effective, but barely used. Grambling State, 1 reception for 0 yards. 1 reception for 0 yards. All in all, on the season, he's got 178 yards, 19 receptions through 6 games, 1 touchdown. Last year, he had 38 receptions for 414, 3 touchdowns in 14 games. So he's actually almost more receptions than he had last year. He's already got half as many receptions as he did in 14 games as he, through 6. 14, he's got 38. Through 6 he's played in, he's got 19 already. And the touchdown. So the best is yet to come from Mason Taylor. I believe so. But he's actually been pretty damn productive when he's gotten the football. It's just you've been seeing a lot more of Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. because they're the ones celebrating in the end zone after all these big plays, Bo. So why go anywhere else? Especially if no one can guard them. Why it's like, all right, now let's get Mason Taylor involved. It's like, dude, Brian Thomas Jr. has 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors has 2 touchdowns, and it's the first quarter already. Like, let's just keep going to them until we want to take them out. Like, I get it. Spread the football around. Get it to everybody. But I'm sorry, Malik Neighbors right now has a chance at the Bolitnikoff Award. That's a big-time deal for recruiting. It's a big-time deal for this team. It's a big-time deal for Malik personally, for his accomplishments to kind of seal that deal. I always believed Malik Neighbors could be that Bolitnikoff winning receiver. I always thought that he would get screwed over by the Bolitnikoff group and by the Ohio State obsessed committees who would put Marvin Harrison Jr. no matter what over Malik, right? But now they almost can't because Malik is number one in the country receiving yards, 860, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is way below him. I think 10th or something in the country. He trust me, he's way below on that list. He's way below on that list in touchdowns. You can say injuries. I don't care. Did say the same thing about Malik. Like, so what? Fight fire with fire. Like, Malik Neighbors deserves this award. He's got to continue to prove it. He's got to seal the deal here against the best teams, the biggest competition. But so far, through 7 games, Malik Neighbors is the best receiver in college football. And you cannot tell me, there cannot be any debate, in my opinion, that Jaden Daniels is not the best quarterback in the country, if not the most valuable player in the country, if there were such an award, which, if it's the Heisman, call it the Heisman, because that's how I believe it's the most valuable player that they give it out to. Usually it's just the most popular candidate of the committees on the best team who's about to go lose the title game or some shit, which we've seen more than them winning, actually, has been them losing these title games, the Heisman winners. In recent years, it hasn't been so much that way, but you've seen it a lot more often that they lose these title games than win them. That hasn't happened with Joe Burrow, though, in 2019, so I don't think it would be happened to Jaden Daniels this time around either, especially when I'd put that quarterback out against anybody. Wouldn't you? I'd put Jaden Daniels up against anybody. As long as you can keep him healthy, as long as you can keep his pocket clean to some degree. You know, LSU's offensive line aren't like unstoppable and like the Great Wall of China this season. But they're doing 10 times better than they did last year, 20 times better than they did last year, which was all Jaden Daniels really needed to start dissecting defenses better, as well as Jaden Daniels needing to go into the film room and study his ass off and get to know coverages, get to know the timing of the receivers, passing the ball a billion times with his guys during the offseason, working on his mechanics, working on that footwork, working on, the ability to, he already has such great vision rushing the football, right? Now he's been trained to use those eyes, use that vision up here for downfield, for down there. It's been next level what Jaden Daniels has done because that's where it's going to. He's able to use that vision he has in every respect for what he's doing. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in America right now. Jaden Daniels is the best player in America right now. Will we be able to get through Army with, 3-4 touchdowns from Jaden in the first half, get him out of the game? Everything's cool. That's the recipe for me. Get Garrett Nussmeier in the game with a 28-35 lead. Will that happen? Will LSU's defense allow that to happen? That's what I want to talk about right now because LSU's defense has shown signs of improvement. But at the same time, we're still in the basement as far as the numbers, as far as the performances. And let's be honest, Auburn were terrible offensively. Auburn were abysmal offensively. They smelled like one of Sage's diapers left in Steve Martin's corpse-ridden trunk for 2 days on Trenton, New Jersey pier. That's how bad it smells. That's how bad that offense is. So they let us off the hook for a lot of that game. They let our secondary off the hook because they simply just couldn't throw the football. But I tell you what, with LSU's caliber of players on that defensive side, just getting a few good games under your belt might be all we need to unlock this thing, right? I would say most definitely for most situations or occasions, if we had a different defensive coordinator. Right now, I can't really say unequivocally, yes, if they get some good games, they, allow Army, under 10 points or whatever, going into the Alabama game, that's not going to really indicate that they're going to shut down Alabama to me. That's not going to really tell me they're going to defensively show out like Arkansas did against Alabama. That's not really going to tell me that they're going to do what Texas tried to do to them, in 2022, and we're finally able to do in 2022, 2023. You're not going to tell me that that's not going to be able to be possible from this defense until we just see it, because it almost doesn't matter what we do against Army as long as we're just keeping guys healthy, continuing to elevate the performances, continuing to get good play out of that defensive line, continuing to rack up pressures, get better pressures, get into the backfield a lot more than we have, and then see some turnovers for Christ's sake. That's what has been driving me nuts about this defense. We are turnover shy, and you can't tell me any different. This defense needs to create more turnovers for LSU, simply put. Let's look at the numbers here, because I want to get the raw numbers here. We've had interceptions from Deuce Chestnut, Harold Perkins, Andre Sam, who also dropped one too, where it's like, dude, we need that. Like, this team needs these plays. The Major Burns pick 6. That's why it drives me nuts with the Brian Kelly. How dare you intercept that ball and run it in the end zone? Like, are you kidding me, dude? This defense needed that play. Like, stop it. Stop it. If we go up by 10 and we choke this game away still somehow to Missouri, then like maybe there's other questions, bigger questions that we need to be asked about this program, about this football team. Because like that's no excuse. Like, I don't care. Take the ball into the end zone. You win this thing by 10. Like, come on. There's been 3, 4, 5, 6 interceptions by LSU. Zy Alexander has one. Deuce Chestnut, great, who, his status is still inactive, but he's still on the roster, according to Kelly, which tells me that they want to cut him, but they can't because they don't have anybody else. They need the bodies. Just keep him somewhat on keep him on speed dial. Keep him on speed dial, coach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 from us. Greg Penn III, that juggling pick. Major Burns with the pick 6, of course. Here's the thing, though. Major Burns has allowed 4 touchdowns this season. Zy Alexander with 3. Greg Penn III has actually allowed a touchdown. And he allowed that 2-point conversion pass attempt on him that went their way as well. Deuce Chestnut with the getting burnt by Keon Coleman. Andre Sam, only 1. I think Andre Sam's at least allowed 2 on there. But this is a chance for LSU's secondary to really get some confidence going. 7 pass breakups for Zy Alexander this season. That's a damn good number from Zy Alexander. 7 pass breakups. While he's never had anything easy go his way this season, he's been constantly targeted more than anybody else. 44 targets his way. That's 19 more than the second place person, Major Burns. He has allowed 27 catches, but 61.4% completion rating is actually 14th on our defense. So he's actually done pretty damn well in context within our team. He's just been the guy who's getting the brunt end of those touchdowns. He hasn't been perfect. I'm just trying to say, in context of this defense, he is not the guy I'm pointing at. Who this guy has been terrible. I think this defense has a lot of chances to really get better here. against Army. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to really experiment as well. Put Deshaun Womack out there for every snap in this game. Why not? Put the dude out there and let him show you what he can do. He'll probably put up 4 sacks. This might be a time to rest Harold Perkins because he has shown you his value as well. Get him in there. Let him make some explosive plays first, second quarter. We get up by 21, 28. He's out of there. And you're putting Whit Weeks in the game with, because I know they'll start Omar Speights in there. They're big believers in Speights now at linebacker. He's the guy over Whit Weeks. Whit Weeks had an incredible run there, but now he is relegated to the bench. I wonder what you all think about that in seeing Whit Weeks basically go from starter the next, superstar freshman at LSU to being almost like it never happened on the bench. It was kind of stunning to me. And Omar Speights, the jury's still out. Maybe he'll be amazing against Alabama. He'll make some of the plays of the game. And so anybody who said he sucks or whatever before, will look stupid because he was playing with an injury or whatever. Which begs me the question, why was he playing on an injury? Why wasn't Whit Weeks out there earlier? Why was he back out there against Ole Miss for basically 3 quarters in that game, 2.5 quarters, before you finally put Whit Weeks in when we were down by 28? Those type of questions are just driving me nuts. Why are our defenders still 10, 15 yards off the ball? I understand that we are terrified that our guys are going to let something big happen over the top. I get that fear. I would rather go down swinging, rather go down attacking, rather go down trusting my guys to deliver, backing my guys to deliver, rather than coaching in fear. Because that's what we're doing right now on defense. We're coaching in fear. And that is how you get preyed upon. You get destroyed by the best teams, the best offenses in the country. LSU, luckily, are going to come up against some teams that, they're better teams on the schedule, like in name, prestige. But I got to be honest, they're better matchups for this defense. We aren't going to be facing such high-tempo, fast-paced offenses like we had this defense face, against Missouri, against Ole Miss, of course. Even Arkansas, they weren't really fast-paced, but KJ Jefferson was a very bad matchup at quarterback for this defense. We could not get him down. Not in the backfield, not when he was running the ball, and then he started passing on us as well. LSU, luckily, aren't going to be facing too many talented quarterbacks outside of Jalen Milroe from here on out. Carson Beck, if we play Georgia, I'm not worried about him. I actually think Georgia is a great matchup for LSU. That's why we got to get to that SEC title game because Georgia will be there. They'll be number 1 in the country. LSU will beat them and take over. What a huge crowning win. We'll go from number 9, number 8 in the country. We'll be jumping all the way up to number 4 when that committee meets. We will be in the college football playoff. Daniels will be the Heisman Trophy winner. Malik Neighbors will be winning the Biletnikoff. That is the pathway. Let me just give it to you straight. This is the pathway to a national championship from here on out. Okay, we beat the living shit out of Army. We respect what they do for our country, but this is a football game. And you wanted to play us. We got you on the schedule by beating the shit out of you. We're actually respecting you by playing you, our best guys, playing you at the utmost. We're not just pulling everybody after 1 quarter or some bullshit. Let Jaden Daniels pad those stats. Let him set those records. Let him go off. If he's taking shots early, he's getting hit early, pull him out of the game once we're up by 28, something like that. Coast. Let Garrett Nussmeier air it out. Get some more receivers, some more touchdowns. Get Kamarian Pimpton involved in this game. Sit Mason Taylor after a quarter, but get him a touchdown at least. Get him a touchdown. Get these guys confidence plays. Start Jordan Jefferson at defensive tackle ahead of Mekhi Wingo since he's going to be out for this game. Give him opportunity. Give Paris Shand a lot of opportunities after his 6 tackles last week. Give Braden Swinson a start at defensive end. Whether it's over Ovie Oghoufo or Savion Jones, either way. But also, get Savion Jones some big-time, confidence plays in this game. He needs some big-time confidence plays from this game. A sack or two, he needs that type of stuff. Savion Jones, I was thinking he got it with that forced fumble last week, but just barely it was called down. We've got another comment in here. Mike Prima says, "What's up, fellas from Bayou Chico, Louisiana? What's up, man?" I probably mispronounced the shit out of that, but what's up, brother? How you doing, Mike? Drinking some Fresca, hanging out with my little guy Sage, and we're talking about LSU Army and the pathway to a national championship, and how I think it involves LSU taking advantage of this game's moments to rest certain guys, but also get some guys some confidence, get some guys some solidified positions statistically with some of these awards. So it's not really something that's going to be on their mind at all. I don't think it is anyway, but leave no doubt. Let them go up by 100 yards, 200 yards in the receiving totals category. Don't let it be neck and neck, 40-50. Get Malik Neighbors a 200-yard game against Army if you can. Why not? It's there for the taking. Do it. Get Brian Thomas Jr. 2 or 3 more touchdowns. Get Malik Neighbors 2 or 3 more touchdowns. Let Logan Diggs go off. Let him go off for as much as you possibly can let him go. But also, rest some of the offensive line if possible. Get Will Campbell off the field if you can. Get Charles Turner specifically off the field as early as you can in this game. With his dealing with his injury that he did before he was an Outland Trophy watch list nominee after and lineman of the week after his performance this past week, where he was just unbelievable at center, so priceless and irreplaceable as a center for LSU. Charles Turner, what a career he has had, a career of massive ups and downs. A guy who played snaps in 2019. Charles Turner. And now he has gone from being forgotten on the bench to suddenly being the guy and then being back on the bench. He has had everything go squampus with his career, and now he has risen to this moment where he's the dude for LSU at center. And it's just really interesting to me, the trajectory of his career. And he's been incredible. He has taken that to that almost Lloyd Cushenberry level of just reliance. You never expect a poor snap from Charles Turner. And you saw his value intrinsically when they put Marlon Martinez at center and put Garrett Nussmeier in the game. And the battery of them, center and quarterback, were abjectly terrible. And it just brought to your mind how difficult what they're doing is every snap, but how easy these great players make it look. And that's what really just elevated Jaden Daniels in the minds of LSU Tiger fans immediately. There was no doubt they knew this is the guy. When you just saw Nuss and them go in, it was like they're not even close to ready for this moment. This guy is delivering us this damn game. Get him back out there. Hopefully he's not hurt. That was your mode of thinking suddenly. Even if you were an Jaden Daniels guy, you were thinking oh shit, we got to have this guy so much. I don't know how you couldn't have believed that already, because he was clearly alongside, the defense last year at times, making huge opportunistic plays, the most valuable player entity for LSU last year. I mean, he gave us 10 wins last year. He really made Brian Kelly look good last year. And so now Mike Denbrock's repaying that favor. Joe Sloan's repaying that favor. Brian Kelly's repaying that favor. They're making Jane Daniels look even better. He's making them look better. Like it's just this cycle where both offensive staff and Jaden Daniels continuously make each other look so good. The way Mike Denbrock is scheming this shit up, the way Jaden Daniels is executing, the way he's able to change at the line now, the way he's able to audible, the way he's able to dissect defenses. I mean, I know we got to flip this here. It's stuff you didn't see last year, but it's stuff you're seeing now with regularity, and it's just like this is his team. It's beyond. It's his team. It's like these guys are ready to get sent to a hospital for Jaden Daniels. They're ready to bleed for Jaden Daniels. They're ready to fight for Jaden Daniels. Like they're JD5, whether you liked it or not, has been their guy for a long time. And Garrett Nussmeier knows that. And, Garrett Nussmeier will have his time. I'm stunned. Come here, buddy. I'm stunned he still has people who believe that he should be starting right now over Jaden. There's still people who will say that to me. Send me direct messages while Jaden Daniels is putting up historic numbers. Nussmeier could do this. And it's like, well, he's not. You have a quarterback who is. You know how rare this is for LSU to even have this? Like, shut up, dude. Like, sometimes it's gotten a little ridiculous. I digress. I will stop going on to that tangent because I could talk about that all day. But for LSU Army, for this game this week is all about what I just said. You rest these certain guys. You give these other guys some big time confidence. Rest Charles Turner as soon as you can. Rest a Will Campbell as soon as you can. If Jaden Daniels is taking shots, stat padding doesn't matter anymore. Get him out of the game. But stat pad if you can, so that we can really get Jaden Daniels head over heels in this Heisman race. This is an opportunity for him to throw like 5 touchdowns again in a single half. Get 2 rushing touchdowns as well. This is an opportunity for LSU to maybe even put up a 45-point first half against Army. They can do it. What if we saw Army come out and just kick LSU's ass? Like LSU are down 10-0. I'm not saying Army are going to beat us. But what if we saw Army come out and go up to like a 10-0 lead? How shocking, how crazy would that be? Come here, buddy. That would be absolutely bizarre. And I would think not only would LSU's offense making mistakes have a role to play in that equation, but it would be like LSU would have to be throwing like pick sixes and all sorts of stuff for that to happen. You got to believe that LSU are going to go down there first drive, score points, go down there second drive, score points, go down there third drive, score points, go down there fourth drive, score points. I don't care what Army's statistics tell you pre-game. They have some pressures. Yeah, they have some good plays. Yeah, they've made, Army's actually been 9-3 in 2021, and they beat Missouri in the Armed Forces Bowl by 2 points. That's what's funny is they beat Mizzou, Eli Drinkwitz's Mizzou, the season before last in the bowl game, and yet Mizzou were all trying to flex against LSU. It's like, you guys lost to Army in a bowl game, you idiots. But yeah, they went 9-4 in 2021. 9-3, lose to Virginia by only 3 points in the Liberty Bowl there. This is, of course, Jeff Monken. This is his 10th season. Pretty crazy run he's had. They're 2-4. They're 2-4. And this is, of course, their second trip to the state of Louisiana this year. They played Louisiana Monroe, lost in a 13-17 defensive thriller. They do have a shutout this season, 57-0 against Delaware State, but they have also been shut out by Troy, 19-0. So this is a team that hasn't really played anybody of consequence like Syracuse, Boston College, Troy. That's LSU on the schedule is really the cream of the crop here. Okay. So really what you've seen before statistically, numbers-wise, isn't going to tell you much about what you're going to see this Saturday. Oh, damn, he likes Fresca now. He's drinking the Fresca. Here, buddy. So yeah, I gotta say this is a moment for LSU to stat pad, seal up some of those awards, seal up that Heisman, at least as the front runner. Seal up the Blitnikoff, at least as that front runner. You know, go into Alabama thinking about what the team needs to do to win this game. You don't have to be thinking one bit about this award or anything and because there's going to be a lot of talk of that type of stuff. But if some of these guys are just so definitively ahead statistically going into these games, they're not going to really worry about it, or it's not really going to be too much of a storyline except for just to say that they're in the hunt for the award. I kind of like that. That's just a little subtle detail that doesn't really matter much, but hell yeah, I want to see Jaden Daniels throw 4 or 5 touchdowns in this first half once again this season. But if it means Jaden Daniels does not get hurt for him to sit, I'd rather him sit. Same thing with Malik Neighbors. And Mason Taylor, I know he's not officially on the injury report, but he's been getting banged up left, right, and center. So keep him fresh, keep him fit, keep him healthy for this season, for this game, for this long stretch here, where you got Army, then the bye. You've got basically 2 weeks to rest Mason Taylor as well. You got 2 weeks to rest Charles Turner as well. 2 weeks to rest anybody who's really banged up right now. Anybody who's really questionable. Chris Hilton coming back this game. But it's kind of perfectly timed for him to come in. Maybe Chris Hilton gets a few catches and maybe gets a touchdown again, second touchdown this season. And then has another chance to kind of rest that leg some more. So it's a well-placed game in my opinion. Because LSU should basically do this every season. Not only, like, you schedule that gimme in October after you've already played like a gauntlet of games, but it's perfectly placed so that it's almost like a second bye week in a way, but you're like, it's almost like I hate to say this, but it's almost like a training game in a way. It's almost like a scrimmage game. So you kind of just keep the guys fit. Keep them loose, keep them adjusted to, used to what getting hit is for the 2-week duration against Army. But you hopefully minimize injuries there, that you don't see anything like that, and you hopefully rack up a ton of points. Yeah. Huh, buddy? Yeah. Hopefully you rack up a ton of points, put up a lot of numbers. You get the win here, and you go into that bye week feeling really good about where LSU is. Forgive the Sage. He's just trying to learn to talk. Forgive him. I'm not sure what else of note that I could go into about this game with LSU and Army. You've seen LSU put paint the end zone camo. You've seen LSU put the American flag on the jerseys. Will LSU's over respect for Army be a detriment? I don't think so. I think that gives them a strength in beating Army because there is a respect there. But you're not respecting Army by not playing your hardest. You're respecting Army by beating the shit out of them. With that, I will give you guys my prediction. I'm predicting LSU are going to win this one 61-13 here. 61-13. I think you're going to see Jaden Daniels throw for 4 touchdowns. Yes, Sage, yes. Jaden Daniels is going to throw for 4 touchdowns in that first half. Hopefully put up a 300-yard game. Who cares if he rushes for a touchdown or not? Just get him off the field without an injury. But let him put up those touchdowns. I think Malik Neighbors is going to catch a few here, probably 2 or 3. Let's say 3. Brian Thomas Jr. is at least going to get 1. Hopefully you get Malik a huge game again. Just let him put up 170 in the first half. If they can't guard him, keep feeding it to him. Let him break records. Let these guys put up numbers, but then get them off the field as soon as you can. Who cares if you've broken the numbers, broken the records, put up numbers? Either way, put up that lead, 28, 31-3, whatever, 31-10. Get them off the field. This may sound so arrogant to Army people who may be watching this, being like, how dare this man basically say that, yes, it's such a foregone conclusion they're going to beat the eternal crap out of our team. I got to say, here's why. Army are a bunch of guys who are so physically fit and in such peak physical condition that the Army takes advantage of that all week. These guys are training so hard, not just for the team, but they're doing all these other sorts of things and really running to the ground for what they're doing for the Army. By the time Saturday comes, there's going to be more missed tackles. There's going to be more mistakes because of some guys are going to be straight up exhausted during this game from Army for playing an offense that they're never used to facing, like LSU's. These guys haven't played an offense that's anywhere even within a galaxy far, far away of LSU's. So I don't think they're going to fare too well in this game against what LSU are about to do. Full respect to Army. My dad's an Army veteran. This is football, though. And if Army West Point wants to have a football academy, they've been successful. They've had great teams. It is a new era of football where you're not, it's going to be even more difficult for Army to get the top players or get anywhere near top players. You're going to have to get cadets, people who are willing to be cadets. And with the state of the world right now, it's just such a different time for Army than it was back in maybe the 50s, the 40s, even the 60s, where Army could probably compete a lot more in these type of games. I mean, Army had Heisman winners, right? Army had national championships back in the day, but it's such a different world, such a different time. I know why I have this weird view of this, this weird vision of Army using some NIL deal with all these dudes on a tank, with all this cash. I don't know why I'm having this weird vision. Very bizarre. But yeah, I'm predicting LSU are going to win this one 61-13. Jaden Daniels, 4 passing touchdowns in the first half, 278 yards. I hope he gets another 300-yard game, but I think just they're going to get him these touchdowns and he's going to get off the field. Malik Neighbors catches 3. Brian Thomas Jr. catches 1. Logan Diggs also scores. Logan Diggs gets 60, 70 yards before they take him out and let let the other running backs really get some playing time. That's what you're going to see a lot of this game. You're going to see a lot of other running backs getting playing time and getting more looks on the field than just Logan Diggs. It's going to be a great game for them to experiment offensively. So we might not have any clue what we're going to see from LSU offensively, where they're going to be trying all sorts of things, playing all sorts of different guys. Kamarian Pimpton, Trey Holly possibly, Caleb Jackson for a full game. Just rest Logan Diggs completely. Like, hey, you're our workhorse. We need you to be good. Why not give you 2-week break? I want to see Logan Diggs get at least, 2 series, 3 series out there. Let him rack up some yards, get a few touchdowns, 1 or 2, get him out of the game. However LSU want to score in this game, I think they can pick. So I think you need to get Jaden Daniels as many statistical bumps as possible. Pass this thing into the end zone every time. So if you're there on the goal line, I get it. Maybe just hand it to Logan Diggs. But outside of that, just air this thing out. Let Jaden Daniels rack up those stats. Then get Garrett Nussmeier in for some well-needed snaps. Let Garrett Nussmeier throw the football. Don't call it conservative when Garrett Nussmeier comes in. Let Nuss go full on Army. Like, let him go full on them. Like, do not just make it conservative and we'll take our foot off the gas. Let this be an absolute full-on 4 quarters where LSU give everything, never taking off the gas. I don't care about, let's take our foot off the gas. Let's show some class and respect by not blowing up the score. I don't care. We don't need, like, Army. If you're going to show Army respect and class, that's how you do it, by playing your best for 4 quarters. There's a chance here for LSU to literally rack up the numbers in such a way that we could break records left, right, and center with some of these offensive guys. You know it, I know it. This is an opportunity for LSU's defense to just continue to stack good performances, stack good games. Another game holding a team under 20 points, hopefully. He's trying to throw this bag of fruit snacks at me. What the hell are you doing, Sage? It's another game where the defense can really show their might and kind of flex some muscle. So do it. Take advantage. Do it. Put up those numbers. But I want to see the right guys playing. I want to see the right guys rested. We've already said who those guys are going to be. You've got to do it. It's a no-brainer, some of this stuff. And you got to take advantage of this. This is like a second bye week right before we play at Alabama, A&M, Florida, Alabama, at Alabama, Florida, at home though, as are the rest. Georgia State, and then A&M. How does it go? Let's take a look at that. I want to get that dead on right. Okay, so at Alabama, time is still not announced for the Alabama game. November 4th. Saturday, November 11th, Florida. Home against Florida. Then it's Georgia. Yep. So it's Florida, Georgia State, Texas A&M, all 3 at home. So 4 of the last 5 at home. Actually, no. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of the last 6 at home, including the Auburn game. Fantastic scheduling as well to also put the Army game right here. Georgia State game as well, right before A&M. We're going to have guys who are beaten up after Alabama and Florida. Georgia State is another well-placed game on this schedule. You need these type of games, and we had too many of them at the first part of the schedule last year. Way too many. I think it was New Mexico and Southern at the first part of the schedule last year. And there was like another third gimme game like somewhere after that. So it was like we needed that in October, November. And here we have them. Smart scheduling with Georgia State. Smart scheduling with Army here. But that's our prediction. LSU 61, Army 13. We need to totally do a shout out to ReliefMed.com, who have been our sponsors, our first sponsors ever. And we are extremely excited with a partnership with them. This, don't take it from me here. You've seen them sponsored on a lot of different other shows. You've seen them all throughout Louisiana. You know their reputation. They're Louisiana's number one all natural pain relief headquarters. Okay, you can just ditch the opiates. You can ditch the painkillers that have been, taking over your life with addiction, taking you down a dark path. Not good for your body either. Not good for your health. Not good for your family. And you can go down a path that's all natural. Go down a path that's pain relieving. Go down a path that is positive. ReliefMed.com. I mean, this is so beneficial for so many different people. But I think in this day and age, with seeing how bad the opiate crisis has crushed our communities, companies like Relief Med, what they provide, are more important now more than ever. Support these guys. If you guys need to utilize their services, they are the best to call. They are the best to go contact. Head to reliefmed.com/contact as well. You can find them right there at the top of that screen when you go on to reliefmed.com. These are awesome people waiting to help. Go in, check them out. Relief Med. Thank you so much for supporting us, guys. LSU Army. We think it's going to be 61-13. What do you think? Post your comments on this video. Send out your MVPs, who you think are going to be your guys. Oh, wait, we haven't given our MVPs. We think the MVP on offense will be Malik Neighbors. We think he'll have 187 yards, 3 touchdown catches. Got to continue with 3, as we said he would have 3 before. 2 might be more realistic, but we're going to go with 3 since we said 3 earlier. On defense, now this is going to maybe have some thinking from me here on defense. I'm thinking about a guy who should be playing all 4 quarters or close. I'm going to go with Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan's going to get a lot of playing time in this game because he's reliable and he's a leader. He's a veteran, and so he'll probably be out there with some of the younger secondary guys later in the game too, as well as starting. So I think you're going to see a lot of Sage Ryan as well as probably Major Burns. And I think Sage Ryan's going to get some turnovers in this game. Maybe it's going to be a scoop and score. Maybe it'll be a pick 6. Maybe it'll just be a couple picks. Either way, I think he gets a couple turnovers in this game, or at least one, and really has a good game for LSU. Really shines for the Tigers in the tackling department, and really influences a lot of other big-time plays from this team, from this defense, that continues to shine. Look, only 61-13. I'm predicting keeping another team under 20 points. That's something we haven't been able to do. We've allowed Florida State 45 points. We allowed 31 points to Arkansas, 49 to Ole Miss, 39 to Missouri. But we've been able to keep Auburn under 20, only 18 points. Kept Mississippi State under 20, only 14 points. Grambling State to 10. We have kept 3 teams under 20 points. But then on the other hand, we've allowed 3 teams to score 39 plus points on us. 4 teams to score 31 plus on us. We've been allowing something like 30.3 points per game allowed by this LSU defense, while we're scoring 45.3. So how do we have any losses? Because of turnovers, because of all these other factors, injuries, just the wrong play calls, maybe the refs screw it up, maybe our defense just cannot keep up with Ole Miss. Just all these sorts of certain things contribute to these defeats. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We're going to see Wilco tonight. Wilco are in town. The amazing band Wilco, one of rock and roll's finest bands. So yes, I'm gonna enjoy the next little bit with Sage before I drop him off, and have a good night. Go Tigers, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow with the post game, all that stuff, right there at LSUODYSSEY.com. Say bye to everybody, Seiji. He's trying to press things. All right, guys, gals, everybody, go Tigers.